I would like to first address Mr. Sunil. I'd like to know from the SCERT perspective, what is the extent to which the AI that has been implemented with the students?
Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, in Haryana, government schools, we are working with the students from the last 1 year. The last year, the initiative taken was we made tech clubs. In Haryana, we have around 119 blocks, and we selected 10 blocks in every block, 10 schools in every block, and we have 1190 schools. And there, a batch of 50 students, those were selected, particular class, ninth standard, and they were given regular intervention about AI. For that intervention, we trained around 238 teachers physically at SCERT. We make them aware of all those things. And after that awareness and the training, the students and the teachers interacted at their schools and then worked on various topics which were introduced in the AI. So this is what we have started last year with the students. But in the current year, we have now trained around 1,200 teachers, and physically, and also the target is 2,200. And as well as we have created one online course. In that online course, all kind of teachers, whether primary, secondary, or middle stage, all stage teachers have registered. Around we have received 9,000 registrations from Haryana, and it was only voluntarily. It was not made compulsory. So those who have interest been invited, and now they have registered, and we are now going to let them. The course will be started just within a week. I think it started 3 days back. It was inaugurated 3 days back. So the course is open, and anyone can, those who have registered will complete the course in due course of time. So this is what the initiative we have started.
Thank you, sir. So from what I've gauged, we're looking at working with the ecosystem stakeholders, which is teachers, and bringing in students. And at the same time, there is an online course. So online is something that we see digitally. So keeping that in mind, Meda, my question to you is, we have quite a number of organizations that is working in the cusp of education and tech. So when we say STEM and responsible tech, what is the challenge that you have always faced when you have to work on the space of impact?
Thanks, Krithika. I think like there are three things that have become sort of our guiding principles, right? Three challenges that we keep in mind every time. So the first one per se is that how do we have a more unified sense of what is impact, what is holistic impact, and then driving towards that so that it shouldn't happen that we are building X, but the entire ecosystem says Y is impact. So that is one thing that we constantly keep challenging ourselves, having dialogues with others to understand what is holistic impact. The other piece is trying to be more responsive rather than reactive, in the sense taking a more long-term vision to what we are building. And what I mean again is, instead of designing for what is now, thinking of where these children, the students of today, how their world will look like maybe 5, 10 years down the line. How do we prepare them for that? So what actions do we need to take today to empower them a decade later? And the third thing is, again, coming back, a very similar thing, many times when we're designing solutions, we kind of have this bias saying, we've built a really great product, but then looking at it more from a user lens. So being more user centric in the sense, what are edge cases? How can this be used? How will this be used? rather than saying that this is the way something needs to be used. So constantly keeping that in mind, those are things that these are the challenges that kind of guide us. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Medha. So we've tried looking at what are the possible challenges that you consistently face when you're looking at the future, consistently addressing the future problems that could come up. Okay, great. So jumping back to system change, Ravi, my question to you is the flip side of system. We've looked at how we're trying to include people as part of it and the potential challenges. I want to know what is the positive aspect that is already existing in our ecosystem that helps us to work better with STEM and AI.
Right. I guess, I mean, if you take it in general, something that's very important for STEM is that it's part of the curriculum, right? In the sense that every child has, period of science and maths in a day. And I think if the programs can be designed such that you integrate into those periods, that makes it very systemic. And I think the critical thing is, and I guess we've talked about it during the last couple of days, is that the friction has to be lowered for the teacher. The minute the friction is high, adoption is low. So I guess if you can kind of ride on the fact that you integrate into curriculum, it becomes much easier to roll out. I think that's one thing. The second thing that probably acts in our favor is for STEM, competency is a natural extension. So what I mean by that is, problem solving, creativity, etc. And you need to just kind of tweak your protocols and how you do it so that you add these very important competencies that a child can develop as they learn the STEM subject. So that's, I think, the two advantages that we have when you extend STEM outside.
Thank you, Ravi. Meher, in extension here, Ravi had mentioned that AI is being integrated into the curriculum, and that makes it easier into adapting it, right? So, if that is the case, we can see AI as a tool for students, right? So, when it's being used as a tool, could you tell us how STEM coding, hands on making will be evolving while using AI as a tool?
Uh, so I think like that was a question I keep on asking myself and everyone around. Even yesterday also I asked. So we are funded by Zerodha and like Kailash is like a good friend, and we keep on debating on this thing. So I think like AI is not very new for us. Like maybe we started doing things around like building AI parts a decade back, and even today our concern is not about AI literacy. Maybe like might feel bit privileged. Like we are mostly working on like, so we got a space in Cochin and we got maybe India's only publicly accessible GPU. So if you want to come and build your own AI models, there is a space for that. So I think like we were more figuring out on like how do you, so anyway we don't want our kids to be or like community members to be mere users of AI. Then how do you build that? So some of the challenges like when they are trying to build that thing, do they have enough support and things like that? So there are enough, so small number of companies now they want to give all these latest AI coding tools to some of the students so that they are ready to build such kind of thing. Other thing now we are trying to figure out. So I used to fight within my team like, okay, coding is a great thing and it's going to stay there because like I did a lot to learn coding and everything, but it's been a decade since I stopped coding, and but last week I might have created 2 apps. So because like I know how it works, and then so I think like right now we are focusing more on like how do we enable the kids to build solutions. That is like, and the building part, when building part becomes bit easier, so we might need people who can actually think about what are the kind of problems that I want to solve. And I think like giving enough of opportunities for young people to figure out what is the kind of solutions that they want to build. And I think that continuous figuring out is the only way that we figured out. So I think like before AI, something we were really good at is like how do you how do you enable young people to thrive in a continuously evolving technology world? The frameworks are going to change in every month, and you are the ideal like the way you used to like learn. No, you take a course and then take a new thing. It's going not going to work at all. So now, so there we figured it out. Like the kind of hackathons and things we do is like overnight you learn a new framework and you build something. So if you do a couple of times, you know, like it's not that very big deal. But where this go, something deep down we understand is like a people who even today, like people who can actually build scalable systems have a lot of edge. But it's what's going to happen to large number of people, students who are not actually building technology, and even if they are using very basic things and try to build small things, I am also a bit concerned.
Thank you, Meher. So, extending from what Ravi and you had said, looking at problem solving and critical thinking, from there, I'd like to loop Mr. Sunil. So, could you explain a little bit about how you see how SCERT focuses on problem solving through STEM, and how has it been implemented in Haryana?
Problem solving skill, as national education policy mentions that 21st century skills, one of the major component is uh, problem solving skill, how to inculcate problem solving skill. So in Haryana, I started this in 2022. We introduced in every school, it is mandatory to put some puzzles on the notice board, some challenges, some challenging problems. Every week, every Saturday, the challenge will be given to all classes, and the students will deal that in the every Sunday. And it is also given the instructions to parents and the classroom and the other teachers also not to tell the solution. Let everyone try. This is, and then after that, I also innovated a new puzzle, that is Harbans puzzle, that also deals in mathematics. So for all classes, class 1 to 12th, any teacher can use. It's very easy to make a new puzzle using that platform. So that puzzle now we made it compulsory that in the unit test or annual exam, one puzzle based question will be asked in the examination. So that is one thing. Then in the classroom intervention also, we have implemented new textbooks. If you see the new textbooks, they are also very challenging. And also in every page of the textbook, you will find math talk, discussion, and then figure it out. So children have to think. They are not of same type of repeated type of question. Every question is a new question, becomes a challenge, and that develops a problem solving skill among students. Another area where we worked is we promoted chess game. So we made chess every Saturday, let children play chess game. So these two interventions we have made. As far as AI is concerned, this year we have sent the proposal to the government how this AI-based content will be introduced in the classroom from class 3 to 10. And that maybe as a part of the regular curriculum, maybe in science or in mathematics. So we are working on it. And as soon as the government makes a meeting and discuss the proposal, we are in the way of making this as a regular part of our regular curriculum. So as soon as we get, and we will finalize the curriculum from class 3 to 10, and then it will be introduced. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. What I found absolutely fascinating was something that even Miss Janvi spoke yesterday, that we have games and sports as part of curriculum while they study, and that is exactly what Sir had mentioned. While things are being done in the space of STEM and AI, there's also chess being put forward so that students are able to work towards critical thinking and problem solving without themselves realizing. That's awesome, sir. So, Mr. Ravi, I'd like to loop you back in. I'd like to know, what is it that you or your organization, ThinkTac, is still figuring out in the space of STEM and AI, although you've been working in this cusp for quite some time, 20 years plus.
Yeah, so actually, one specific thing we've been struggling with is measurement and how you actually figure out what you've been able to with the program you're using, right? So, and specifically, the problem comes down to competencies. I mean, so the concepts can be easily measured. It's simple. So really, how do you kind of, without adding too much of overhead, how do you measure the improvement that has happened? Is one of the problems that we've kind of been struggling with, and I think it's an ongoing design problem for us. So you do something, and then sometimes protocols change, activities change, then you kind of have to go back and fix those. The other thing that has been also in some sense that's related to scale is that as you get to scale and you want to do interventions without you being there in a classroom, or without you even remotely being there in a classroom, which is really what we are doing. I mean, we have uh, currently many programs which are entirely driven by the state. So then how do you actually ensure the quality of delivery is again good? So I think it's about how do you measure outcomes at a student level, and also about how do you measure quality of what the teacher has been able to deliver. I think those are really the problems that we.
Thank you, Ravi. So, to quickly sum this up, we went through how the ecosystem exists, how SCERT is trying to work towards, specifically in Haryana. We saw the potential challenges, the positive parts that help us move in the space of STEM and AI, and few challenges that each of them are facing, and how they link it to critical thinking and problem solving when it comes to STEM and AI. With that, I'd like to conclude my set of questions to our esteemed panel. We'd like to take exactly 2 questions. Does anyone have? Yes.
Thank you so much for wonderful thought sharing, sir. A lot of ideas. My question is, there is a latest study conducted. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So there is a latest study conducted, especially in the field of AI, the community of the people using AI and not using AI. And there is a very shocking, the result and the outcome when these people put through the scanning, brain scanning, the brain activity was absolutely low in the people those are using AI. Either they are using ChatGPT for their school project, or maybe Claude, or maybe Perplexity, or anything, which clearly speaks that the ability to think and problem solving is absolutely declining and depriving in the students. As a responsible educator, or maybe philanthropist, or whatever you call it, what are the few things, sir, you shared about some of the things, the initiatives, really very good, but as a holistically, how we can include more and more things, so that AI, we can't say no to AI. It has come another big, the blast, which is the anthropic AI, which is maybe the coming with a lot of noise in the market. How we can include much more of that activity, physical activity, for the students, so that their ability to think and solve the problem will increase, and they will lead the country and the generations for the future.
Yeah. So fundamentally, what the policy we follow is activities is first. I don't know if you heard of Arvind Gupta ji's work. So essentially, we use simple materials and children do activities. But what is the difference is we embed it into the classroom. So into timetables of children. So when they do chapter one, they do this, and so on and so forth. So I think that is really where, to answer your question, that should continue. I don't think we can change that. My view on AI is that AI should accelerate learning, not reduce the learning, right? It's the very big difference between the two. You can learn faster, but then what you learn should not change. And we could, in my view, address that by where do you structure AI, right? It can't be part of the basic curriculum. It has to be something that goes beyond that. And also AI should be used as a tool. So typically, we do a lot of stuff around, how do you help children understand careers? That's a good place to probably use AI. I think we have to be very careful on where we introduce AI. It has to be used. I mean, there's no question about it, but just where you use it is very important.
Yes, we cannot stop using AI. It's now a part of common man also, not only for students. Everyone is using now AI. So how better way we can use that is also again important. So if suppose students are bringing with Chat GPT, then teachers has to give how you create the prompts, the thinking of different prompts, so that the answer should be precise to that. So we should look forward in that direction also. We should start learning in that. So let children think. Okay, you ask ChatGPT, but how precisely you will ask? What is the special way you ask? So that also let children learn, think how precisely they can ask. And also ChatGPT or any AI. One thing more for the teachers, I am just expecting from this. Even many things are happening with AI that teachers had a lot of work of checking the notebooks. So how that AI by scanning or doing that diagnose the whatever is written by the student and then gives feedback to the teacher. If this will happen, I think this will decrease the workload on the teacher and let him think the strategy how to deal students. If that diagnosis, AI helps him. Thank you.
I just have one thought, which is I'd like to share it with everybody, which is one of the core philosophies at TAN 90. We want to teach people how to fail, right? So even with AI, the idea we think should not be to show them more and more products. It's about logical architecturing, right? Like how can you teach children to think logically and teach them that, the process of logic involves failure. So when you meet a failure node, what do you do next? So if you're able to enable children to think that way, then I think they are not going to come to you with, you don't like, it's not about the prompts or the solutions. They will move much beyond that. And that's what we try to do. But again, like Sir said, there's a lot of problems around measurement. We struggle as well. Every day is a new learning day for us. But yeah, I think that is one thing that we all miss out fairly, where we're all looking for fast answers and children tend to mimic us. So, yes.
As in the problem solving skill, I introduced one puzzle. In that puzzle, child has to write the logic of every step, whatever step he's doing. So in mathematics, if child able to learn logic, then I think the things will happen in better way. So logic, normally the question is, for example, I'm giving you that find LCM of 10, 15, and 30. But you will not find any question that 30 is LCM of which three numbers. So my puzzle will introduce this type of open-ended questions where children have to think. And then like Sudoku, they have to arrange the number in such a way whether the number in that row is repeated or not. So, and then why that position is filled, not hit and trial, as in Sudoku they do. He has to write the logic for every step he filled in. That's it will not erase once he written. So that's once written with logic, it will not be. So this kind of intervention can make children think and introduce this, inculcate this problem solving skill. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just one last question and then we'll move on to the next session.
Hi, good morning. I'm Varsha. I represent my organization Avishkar. We work in STEM teacher capacity building. My question may be more relevant to Ravi sir and Medha ma'am. I fully aligned when you said there is urgent need to align on what we consider impact, and we also as an organization are we also face a challenge in the same space. And when you said and it's difficult to measure competency and skills, which are not very tangible. My question is on similar lines. When we have conversations with partners, people we want to work with, in their idea, in their visual of what STEM looks like, it's often a very tangible product, a model, or you do an experiment, you show what it is. But our stance has always been that there is an underlying concept that goes behind, which is not is not visible. I can't show that I have understood something as long as I've explained it or shown it. And their energy is always consumed by that can I show something? And our stance has always been the opposite. And you were also talking on very similar terms. So how do you go about having these conversations with people? Have you had, have you had a breakthrough? I just wanted to hear that.
I will shamelessly tell that, no, no, each of you have exactly 1 minute to respond.
No, I think what you're saying is absolutely right, right? So whenever, in fact, we ask a child to make an innovation or do something different, uh, they're really excited in the process of making. But after that, when you have to explain why they did that or how the process came to mind, they kind of go a little blank. So what we've been attempting to do is to actually build a few protocols for this. And simple thing to do is we say, okay, what are the dependent and independent variables, right? So why don't you note that down first, and then you make your change or variation, right? It is helpful, but still, I think it's to actually bring the relevance of the topic is not very easy. So, lights. So, so I think that's kind of where we are. However, I think this is a place where AI could be helpful, right? In the sense that we could actually have a ladder of questions that helps a child now. Oh, you've done this now. Then you have a set of questions that go in sequence. So, a possible use of AI.
We generally have this issue with stakeholders who are decision makers, and where they are ready to listen. We have this sometimes this fun approach where we go with broken things, saying, if you've really understood the concept, you should be able to reverse engineer this. And if you're not able to reverse engineer, then unguided free play is the need of the hour. So that's something we've tried. It's worked sometimes, sometimes it's not. But yeah, we're still learning along the way, but difficult question to answer.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Meda, for achieving that answer in 1 minute each. Thank you all for this cozy discussion. We will be moving on to the next session that will be led by Mithun. He's the co-founder at MakerGhat and director of partnerships. Without any further ado, let's move on.
To the next presentation. Next on stage, sir, can we please do that later? Next on stage is the Apprentice Project. Apprentice Project works with government school systems to build children's 21st century skills of critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving. Learning is delivered through a Tap Buddy, an AI-powered WhatsApp platform that guides students through project-based learning. TAP was the first Indian NGO to win the Harvard President's Innovation Challenge and is incubated at the Harvard Innovation Lab. So over to you.
Thank you, Mithun. Hi, good afternoon, folks. My name is Naresh. I represent the Apprentice Project. I look after the HR processes here. To start with about the Apprentice Project, we are a completely online model of working. So we have, we interact with students through a WhatsApp chatbot, which is AI powered. Students here have a choice of subjects ranging from STEM to financial literacy to visual arts. What we're trying to do here is through this chatbot, one, obviously scale becomes easier because a device like a platform like WhatsApp is available on almost every phone today, right? So anybody who has a smartphone also has WhatsApp, so reach becomes easy for us. What we're trying to do is trying to kind of piggyback on that reach and see how many students we can reach through that platform. What we are doing with the content of the curriculum that we are sharing with students, we're trying to create that ecosystem where we allow 21st century skills to build outside the scope of a classroom. So we're trying to get students to think, we're trying to get students to work on, innovation, on critical thinking, on confidence, on communication, and so on. But instead of me, I think it's better if I have one of our students share what exactly is it that they have experienced. So this is Muskan. Muskan is one of our students from Delhi. She did something very cool, and I was like, so when we were really looking for stories to share, and when Krithika reached out saying that we need to kind of share a story which has a problem statement and so on, this jumped out at us like from the get go. So we just want to share this story with you guys. Audio. How do we do? Can we have the audio for this, please?
Students are even not being.
Uh,
Okay, so my name is Muskan Sa. I'm from SKV Malvinagar School in New Delhi. In Tab I have chosen secondary coding. So coding was something new which I could learn. So that's why I was a little curious that how coding works, how new applications are working, how do we get the knowledge to make these new applications. That's why I have chosen. So I thought of creating a calculator. I created this calculator for the students who are studying in primary grade. This calculator required a lot of input, so I have put almost all my learning, all the learning of my different tabs which I have learned through coding. So I could showcase all my learning through this calculator. Also, that foundational literacy and numeracy rate in India is at a terrible condition. So I tried making this calculator so that it can help primary grade students. Since I am also a student, so I am trying to see the problem from a view of a student. So students are even not being able to solve very simple mathematical and arithmetic problems. So I think they need a calculator which is very simple, which they can use as a game so that they can solve all those arithmetic problems. The calculator which we are using on our mobile phone, that is very confusing. There are so many different functions which that calculator have. So maybe it can become a little confusing for primary grade students. So for them to solve their arithmetic problems, I have created this calculator.
Right. So what Muskan basically did is she took up coding as one of the subjects that she wanted, that she had an interest in. Again, our program is an entirely choice-based program where students get to choose what subject, what stream they want to go into. And since Muskan had a lot of interest in coding, she took that up, and then she saw a real-life problem around her where primary school students were struggling with like basic arithmetic, right? So she created this fun game of sorts where students could learn mathematics, basic board mass functioning of how to do basic mathematics, and that's what she was able to kind of create for them in a manner where it became fun for students and they were also learning on the go. She's from a government school. So what are we doing in the long run? If we look at the problem statement from an education standpoint, we're looking at public school systems. They train children to memorize stuff, but when it comes to practical application of things, there are a lot of gaps there. So through our program, what we are trying to do, we send out videos of lesson plans to these students based on whatever stream they are going for. And with these lesson plans come activities. These activities are designed so that the students are able to think, students are able to articulate, and the students are able to even come up with like a lot of questions. Our WhatsApp chatbot is entirely AI powered, so any questions that they have, they get instant responses from the chatbot, and they can clarify a lot of their doubts and go on with the next part of the process. The AI powered feedback that helps children, it kind of also asks a lot of questions to the student. So it's not like a student asks a question and it gets the answer directly. The conversation or the interaction is such that the WhatsApp chatbot or the AI behind it basically makes a student think about what exactly is it that you want to understand from this, then questions the student about it. Have you understood this concept? Can you give me an example of something in your life? And that's where a lot of that critical thinking, a lot of that problem solving aspect of it also comes into the picture. As a result of it, a lot of our students, like Muskan, have come back to us and said that, okay, what we've learned through this process, we see a lot of potential for us to apply them in our day-to-day lives. And just to kind of recapture the, understanding of this through Muskan's lens.
After being with Tab Buddy, I got to know that how can we explore new ideas, how can we put our innovative ideas in the functioning of the applications which we are making. So creativity is one skill which I have improved in myself. Also confidence, like today it was Tab event and there were so many people who were coming in front of us and we were supposed to show them our projects. This was something which improved my confidence. I'm trying to use those skills in for creating solution of the social problems which I can see in front of me through coding and through gaining the skills of making these kind of applications. I want to use them to solve all the social issues which I can see in my community and in my country.
So Muskan is one case study for us to look at, right? So she looked at this opportunity. She saw what TabBuddy was doing for us. So TabBuddy is the AI platform that we use on WhatsApp. Through TabBuddy, she was able to ask a lot of questions, get a lot of understanding of what exactly is it that she wants to do for her society, for her community. And there are multiple such stories that we have to share. So one thing that we've realized is, from a challenge perspective, we saw that from the current education system, the way it is designed, that ability to think for yourself, that ability to ask questions, that ability to come up with solutions, maybe that needs like a little bit of nudge, and that's what we are trying to do here through our program. Thank you.
Thank you, Naresh, and really happy to see students building with so much confidence. Next on stage is TinkerHub. TinkerHub is a maker community that began over a decade ago as a student club, enabling young people to explore technology together, sharing the joy of making. Today, it connects 32,000 members across 60 plus campuses through peer-to-peer learning and runs a free 24/7 public space like a library, but for hackers and makers. So, welcome to the stage.
Slide. Hi. So my name is Meher. I'm from Cochin. I really want to make a lot of slides look like this, but they have some design standards. So that's why most of my slides, and my designer decided not to do beyond this. So this is the main slide. So the question was like, I feel bit not fit in the whole conversation, because like, now also we are asking, are we doing education? So like we were like a bunch of friends who are trying to learn new technology, like helping each other on new things. It was not very, you are changing the world, or like you are transforming education or things like that. But and most of the narratives we had here, it was like a mostly top down, like government driven organizations are like changing the syllabus and things like that. So what we were used to think is like so at least the world of technology was like fastly evolving, like the way I spoke in the panel. So we were working with AI maybe a decade back, and then we were thinking like, how do you create people who are actually creating new kind of technology in the front? It's not like the mere users or the literacy kind of a thing. And the most of the activities what we do is inside colleges. And today I will share few like a lessons or learnings around agency, because like most of our programs, so I work inside government. I was running incubation centers and accelerator programs, so we had all kind of access within the government, but we decided to go other ways. So the kind of programs and activities that we are going to showcase around is like students agency. It's like basically we are going to create small learning communities inside colleges. So there is no MOU or anything like that. So then how do you enable like large number of students to take ownership of their learning? So, and most of our programs are inside colleges. It's not mostly like school programs are very rare. To start with, so these many members are there in the community. So we got an app and everything. But the thing is like 31,752 people invited one of their friend to be a maker. So you can't just download the app and be a maker or a member. So somebody from the community should invite you. So this is first step, like this is to show you it's not like something that we force people to be a maker, that it's their free will basically. Other thing is like we create these small campus community models. Basically, in different campuses, they might have different problems. For example, there is a college then girls from there are actually getting married in third year. So there is no incentive for a first year girl to learn new things. Only you got 2-3 more years, maybe you just chill. So that what we do is like we enable students from these campuses to figure out what are the challenges in that campus and then help them figure out what is the kind of solution that they want to build. For example, these kind of places where students are getting good marks but no placements, maybe they need to figure out how do you showcase their skills to outside world. In simple terms, like nobody goes to college and there is a syllabus, maybe a chapter on how do you fall in love in college. You figure it out. So like that, how do you give that agency of students to figure what is the kind of things that they want to learn in college? And then while you are trying to learn new things, how can you help your friend as well? So the campus community models are like, it's like a entirely student run thing. There is no MOU between the campus and us. And then last year only they ran around 1,100 learning programs. So it can be maybe a small hackathon, a small discussion, whatever that they feel that is like important for their campus. And most of the time, our programs are actually designed by. I really wanted to show some more other kind of slides because like, so even the language we use, I'm very hard to figure out in the sense like the Gen Z language or the kind of programs that we come up with. Most of the time, the students, they will design the kind of programs they want to run in their campus. And most of the time, for example, a couple of years back, there was this program called Kode Pookalam. So it's like around the Onam time, you design a Pookalam. It was a small experiment in a campus, and then everyone loved that. And then we expanded that to different campuses. And right now, this whatever thing needed to be done in the campus, students leaders who already built a campus community inside, so they became the mentors or the guides. So and they take the call. Okay, this is the kind of program that we are going to run in the campus at the time. Other thing is like so we are a very small team, like maybe 8 people full time. Average, so beyond me, I think like the average age is like 23.4. So and I think close to 500 people work every day. So they are campus leads, they are volunteers, they are designers. So basically, it's like a huge, like a volunteer-driven thing. And then this was like, and we got a lot of cool stickers. Like Jassy got that, and so basically, like I want to give some of the like examples of like how do this kind of like a purely voluntary driven or large extent voluntary driven student led community can actually do things in scale. So we got a one of its kind public space in Cochin. It's like it's called Tinker Space. It's like 24/7 open. It's free. Anyone can come. There is no teacher. There is no curriculum. There is nothing. There will be like maybe a small 3D printer, enough space for people to sit, Wi-Fi and things like that. And then last 1 year, there are 10,000 people came. They learned something using that space. So there is no mentor or things like that, but there is that environment and community. If you are trying to come up, maybe try to build your own AI models or like create a small robot or something, there would be somebody who in the community who might have some clue about how to do that, and they will help you. And then that the community culture is what we were trying to build. And this is the another thing. So how do you get Gen Z folks really excited about building something? And there is not much of a reward for that as well. So it started with the name. It's called Useless Project. So a lot of companies don't want to sponsor. A lot of colleges don't want to host because this company sponsors Useless Project. What is that? But around, I think like around 4,000 Gen Z folks are very excited. What is this? Maybe I should give it a try. So these are some of the good examples came out of that. So there is a saying in Malayalam. I think most of you might know what is appam. Like that is an appam. It's like something like you would eat. So there is a saying in Malayalam. You eat appam ninna madi kuzhiyandanda. So you eat the appam. You don't count how many holes in there. Do what you are told to do. Don't go deep or dig. So somebody actually went and built a tool that is going to count how many dots or how many goodies are there in the appam. So what happens, like a similar kind of technology can be used in a drone to see what is wrong with the plant. But so most of the time hackathons are for like you are going to save the world overnight. It's not going to happen for sure. But like this, their agency, their creativity is actually taking place. The other one is like a plant pal. It will take care of itself. Like when they detect enough sunlight is not there, enough water is not there, it will go to somewhere they can actually get some sunlight. So these are some of the examples. Other thing is like so we are running world's largest hackathon for girls. It's called TinkerHack. One other thing we figured out is like even now like transportation for girls is like a big issue. Like they are not allowed to go very far. So we created small hackathon venues like spread across the state. This year it's going to be 6,000 girls writing, like attending a hackathon, overnight hackathon around 100 plus venues. Last year it was like 3,200 girls. Out of which 2,000 girls actually wrote first line of code that night. And it was like purely like even volunteer driven. So it was mostly like how do you give that experience of learning and building something to somebody overnight. So then they realize, okay, it's not a very big deal. That's not rocket science. Even I can also do. Many of the students were learning, I think, like a chemistry and sociology. They were not even engineering students. So when you give agency to the learner, like so the thing is like where we are coming from, the like fastest evolving world of AI, we were like in there like for long enough to figure out tech may it's very hard for you to predict what's going to happen, and you can't like teach people things and then hope that they are going to use that skill forever. So only thing it's going to survive them is like try the ability to figure out things on the go. So all these activities are giving them that agency, like it's not very big deal. Overnight, you should be able to figure it out. So all these activities are like kind of like making them do that. So yeah, these are some of the learnings, and we got really cool stickers for you. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. The next part of the session was to deep dive into a few challenges that we face, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to that part because, as we said, one common thing that we observed, right, there are a lot of inspiring stories, inspiring things that we heard. So that's also a reason why we thought about having the Shikshagraha STEM collective, right? Because there are challenges that I faced, which I might have solved, but the same challenge you might also be facing. So why should you also develop and come up with a solution for that when we can collectively come and solve this problem together? So to talk more about that, handing over to Krithika about what the whole collective is about and how we are going to build this together. So over to you.
Everyone for intentively listening to each of our presenter here. I'd like to share, so like Mithun had said, there is Shikshagraha STEM collective and MakerGhat is anchoring that collective. We are honored to anchor that collective. It is a pan-Indian STEM collective whereby we bring together multiple STEM organizations to come together, share about the different places we work in, the different geographies, the best practices, what we want to take back, what kind of support we want from one another, etc. So we've come together to identify not just not just the best practices, but even shared resources. Like, for example, some organizations have created curriculum. Some organizations are great at teacher training. Some are very good at monitoring and evaluation. So we thought, why not come together, help one another out, and at the same time, not have that intent of, hey, this is my contact, so I will be going through this partnership, or this is someone I have partnered with better, so I'd rather not give it to you. We have worked intentively to drop that kind of an attitude, come together and take the whole cause and the intent of taking STEM and AI to the students right possible way, the more ethical possible way, right? And so if I would like to open it out to all of you, whoever is exploring the space of STEM or is aware of other organizations working in the space of STEM, please do feel free to link them to either me or Mithun. We would love to have you all part of Shikshagraha STEM Collective and move things forward so that we can impact as many students as possible. Thank you all for being part of this brain date.